Well, hello everyone. This is Raquel, and it is January 11th in the year 2023. And I don't know about you guys, but as we are sitting only at the 11th of January, it actually feels like we've had 10 months of 2023 already. As we continue to move into the ever present moment, it's really interesting how, for me personally at least, it just feels like there's so much time passing in that present moment, which has no time. And so it's very interesting to get used to the new sensation, if you will, or experience, I guess is a better word, of being in the present moment and how much space, how much there is within that new experience. It's just very interesting. And for me personally, it does feel like we've should be in about October of 2023 right now instead of just 11 days in. But it's a really interesting experience as we continue to expand into what for me often feels like the void. Being in the now moment when I'm really totally present and there's nothing prior to actually things dropping in from my higher self. But there's times when I'm just feeling like I'm in a void. And that's when it feels like 10 hours have passed when it's only been like a minute and a half. So it's really working to expand our experience and move our mind out of that linear construct. But I have to admit, for me, it's been a little interesting. And I would bet that many of you have experienced something similar. And of course, in January, after the holidays, it's always a little bit slower as we get back into a normal. What's normal? I always like the joke that the only thing that is truly normal is a setting on the dryer. It's the only place normal exists. But as we get back into our day to day experience, January always does seem to feel like a very long month. And this time around in 2023, it really does feel very expansive. Like there's just been so much time that has passed. And again, that's just kind of ironic. And so, as we're doing this, one of the things that I'm noticing, and it may be part of your experience as well, is how when I'm truly in the now moment, how much my ego wants to get my attention. And it's moving beyond trying to think about the past or the future, my plans, what I need to buy at the grocery store, etc., etc. But my ego is really playing havoc with doubt, with that inner voice of the critic, is what I'm really hearing so much louder now that I'm in the present moment because it's doing everything possible to pull me out of that experience. And so, if you are experiencing anything like that as well, just remember it is because you are tapping into and really honing how to be in the present moment that your ego is going to try all kinds of tactics to pull you out of that experience. And I know we've been talking quite a bit about, staying out of the past or the future. But as much as we do that and temper our desire to be there, the ego is going to do anything it possibly can to pull us out of that ever present moment. And we've had a lot of experience with it in our meditative states, but it's a whole new ball game to really walk that experience in our waking life. And so just notice, really pay attention. And every time you find your ego trying to pull you out of that present moment, really love that part of yourself. So if the ego is trying to make you feel unworthy, really love that your ego's trying to do that. How fun is that? How silly is that experience that the ego's trying to convince you you're less than exceptional? It's just really interesting. So try to make that as much of a game as you can in the fact that you just love it, regardless of what it's trying to do. How, and I talk about it as separate, makes it easier for me, but that part of the ego that is just doing everything possible to stay alive, and just love it. Just acknowledge it. I love that my ego is trying to convince me I'm small. I love that my ego is trying to convince me I'm not good enough or not worthy. How funny and silly is that when we really do, on our deeper soul levels, understand that we are source. And so I'm just noticing that as we move further into the experience, and recognizing all of the tactics that the ego will go to get your attention. And sometimes it is that inner critic, sometimes it's the pain body, sometimes it's the outer reality really being in your face about the way the world is or wants you to believe it is. So there's all kinds of ways that is kind of amping up for many of us right now, because we are truly starting to master being in that present moment more and more and more, tipping the scales to be present even more often than we're not. So as we continue on this journey and move into more of just being in that present moment, really make it a game, and really just love the heck out of your ego because it is scrambling for dear life right now as whole new levels of consciousness are trying to anchor through you.